Security, escort this gentleman out, please.
Come on, Soda Pop, let's go.
Good afternoon, everybody, and thanks so much for joining me today. I certainly appreciate it. I made a commitment when I was elected mayor that I would do whatever I could to address the infrastructure needs and, yes, the infrastructure challenges of our great city. Considerable progress has been made across numerous fronts, from roads, sewer and water lines, parks and bike trails, public buildings, and so much more. An important component of our city's infrastructure involves how and where we serve our citizens, and also employ our city's most valuable resource, our city's employees. Our City Hall opened in 1935 and has received substantial investment since 2010. I'm very, very proud of the progress here in our old City Hall. But even with these improvements, we're not serving our citizens and our city employees in the most productive way. We should get a stronger return for the taxpayer dollar. We should make collaboration easier and strive for efficiencies. We should make government more service-friendly and responsive. We should create a work environment where our city employees, they feel valued and ultimately optimize their personal return to the citizens that they serve. We've worked hand in hand with the city councilors and our citizens to attain these goals over 2+ years. Countless hours of due diligence has gone into this effort. The need is a real one. Our city is growing. We add a city of Yankton to Sioux Falls about every 4 to 5 years. These citizens that choose to live, work, and play here, they need services. The city workers are employed to provide those services. Our town, the city of Sioux Falls, it is strong financially. Our debt burden is very, very low. About 4% of your sales tax dollar, it goes to paying off debt. We can afford these investments now and the future. Sioux Falls, if anyone tells you that your city has too much debt, it's just not true. This is a very prudent investment, and the timing is right. We've locked in prices, but this goes away if the bonds are not sold soon. Interest rates, they are incredibly competitive right now. We will receive great value with the proposed plan. Any further delay will cost taxpayers, you folks, the taxpayers, millions of dollars more. Sioux Falls city government, here's the reality. It is here to stay. Investing in another city administration building, it makes business sense and it makes common sense. Leasing is not responsible long term. The last time Sioux Falls invested in this way for this type of purpose was with our city hall, where you folks are at right now, and that was 1935. Look at the incredible returns that decision has made on our city. It's over 80 years later. We have the opportunity to do the exact same thing. This investment, it's also going to create economic development opportunities along with civic pride. This government services corridor right here It will transform this area in ways that you folks cannot imagine. What many consider a less than pleasing gateway into our downtown right now will be transformed into something we can all be proud of. Economic development will be spurred on all around this new building, this city park, and the surrounding neighborhood. Sioux Falls, we have done our homework. There has been more study, there has been more due diligence, and there has been more collaboration on this particular topic than the event center and the indoor pool combined. This actually started way back in 2007. And since that time, all kinds of alternatives certainly have been, and other recommendations have been made, and yes, debated. No matter what the alternatives discussed, the best solution that keeps coming up time and time again is this one. What is that solution? Sell the sales tax revenue bonds and construct a new City of Sioux Falls administration building. There is a sense all across America that government cannot get anything done. In Sioux Falls, we've taken that feeling and we have turned it on its head. We are getting things done here. It is time to get this done too. It is with this in mind that I am going to announce to all of you today that I will be making my first veto as your mayor. I value the work and the sacrifice of the City Council. I respect their service. However, I disagree with their recent vote on this long-awaited need for our citizens and our employees. For those that are trying to portray this decision to build a new administration building as the mayor's alone, it is not fair to the team that has worked an incredible amount of time on behalf of all of you, the citizens and the employees that serve those citizens, that are working day in and day out to meet the challenges and capture the opportunities of Sioux Falls. This team, many of whom are in this room right now, this team has never wavered, no matter what the reason provided, for not doing it. These city councilors and these city employees, they have focused on this need and this fiscally responsible solution. This investment is needed. This investment is prudent. This investment is timely. This investment is the right thing to do for all of the citizens we serve and for the city that we love. 100 years from now, citizens of Sioux Falls will still benefit from these leaders, these stewards, and these public servants that have sacrificed on their behalf. Thank you for being here today. I definitely want to open it up for any questions that the media may have, and as well as councilors. I know you're going to have plenty of time to discuss this as well. Thank you for being here today. But if there is anybody from the media who would like to ask, yes, thank you. Welcome.
So you'll veto at the August 2nd meeting then? Is that when you'll present this?
The veto is on its way to the city clerk's office right now.
Okay. And so that will come up next Tuesday?
That will come up on, I think it is August 2nd.
How many votes are needed to override that veto?
Folks, I'm the executive branch here. I'm going to let the legislative branch handle those type of things. I'm trying to fulfill what I believe is the right thing to do in terms of my role, and now I'll leave it in the hands of the legislative branch to certainly fulfill their role. Any questions in regards to that, I would just ask Tom Greco, great resource, a great hire. He can answer any questions in terms of the intricacies of that.
As you said, it's the first time you've used
Yes.
your veto power.
Yes.
I guess if you could just explain how it's gotten to this point, to this magnitude, why you feel it's so important to use this power. Not only use it, but use it for the very first time.
Like, in all due respect, I think I just did that.
Okay.
I tried to lay that out with what I just talked about, but I'll also give you some, I think you'll get more insight. One of the things that, as mayor, when you do a veto, and it's done rarely in the city of Sioux Falls, you also provide a letter to the city councilors as well that outlines some of the rationale for that decision. That letter is on its way to the councilors, as well as a copy will be provided to all of you as well. And I think what it'll do is it'll give you even more insight into what I was thinking or we were thinking with this important decision. Thank you. Good job.
And then if anyone were to say, your council members are, the majority of them, 5 of them, are concerned about the need for this project and the cost for this project. Are you ignoring their concerns?
Never. I will never ignore the city council. I'll never ignore the citizens. I've been listening to them when I was running for mayor. I've been listening and learning from them as I've served as mayor. But I think one of the great things about government is that you do have debates, you do have disagreements at times. But I think as long as you show them respect and you try to work in collaboration, I think it serves the city not only on decisions like this, but well into the future. There's all kinds of examples of dysfunctional government out there. In Sioux Falls, that's not occurring. I think our government is one of the most productive in the nation, and I'll defend it until the day is long. I think that there's probably even more reasons why some of the councilors feel the way that they do. And again, I listen to them, and I think what we've tried to do is we've tried to be responsive to those over the last 2+ years. And that includes the new council as well. Every time that we've heard something that has been concerning to them, we've immediately tried to address that, to try to give them some insight on why we feel differently, in hopes that it would help influence them in some way. And of course, influence is a strong word, but in government that means voting one way or the other. Here's my hope. And my hope is that with even more understanding, that these city councilors, some of which are here today, that they'll take what I've said today, they'll take what is in the letter that will be provided to them, as well as maybe they'll take the next week or so and engage me or engage our city team or other city councilors and engage them to maybe understand our rationale even more. Here's the reality. Votes change. They do. After vetoes, sometimes people do change their votes occasionally. I hope that happens in this particular case as well. But I respect whatever decision that they make.
How much longer can you operate City Hall without this new building?
Well, I think the reality is that you can put Band-Aids on really anything that you do. You can do that in nonprofits, you can do that in small and large business, you can do that in churches, you can do that in government. There's these needs, there's these issues, and you can throw Band-Aids on for a long, long time. You can. Right now, the reality is we are out of space. We are. Now, we can lease and do things like that, but again, I made a commitment that I would do whatever I could to help make us more efficient, more productive, get more value out of that taxpayer buck. And what we're doing today doesn't do that. It just doesn't. And so, you know, again, I think it depends on what type of ultimate goal that you have. My goal has been to reach even higher for the citizens that we serve, for the employees that serve us, and yes, I want to maximize that taxpayer buck. I do. I do. Folks, if you believe that if you believe that leasing long-term in city government is the right thing to do, I apologize. I just respectfully disagree with you in any way, shape, or form. It makes no common sense. It definitely makes no business sense. It just doesn't.
So if the bonds are sold in October, and if the veto, goes through, I guess, do you have any other details on the project, like when construction would start or when that building would be finished by?
I don't. And again, I don't think we've ever taken this for granted. We've never taken it for granted. One of the things that you learn in government, 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 1 step forward, 2 steps back. There's checks and balances. There's debate. There's alternatives discussed. So, and that's what's happened with this, and it's been going on for a long time. So again, I don't have those details. I actually don't even think they're probably even appropriate to talk about, because guess what? This still isn't done. It's not. There's still more discussion, more debate, more dialogue to occur. Thank
Would
you.
you have used your veto if the council would have voted 6-2, knowing that 6 vote threshold would have been harder to ignore?
Joe, you know what? That's a good question. Yeah. Joe, I do go into everything that I do, hopefully with the spirit of making the basket, capturing the opportunity. I want to go in positive, constructive, but I'm not a dummy. I'm not. I'm also a realist, and so if it was 6-2, I think it would have been a lot more hard pressed to veto it. I do. Now, it doesn't mean that I wouldn't have busted my tail to try to influence one of the 6 to maybe change their mind, because again, I'm training for a half marathon right now, Sioux Falls, okay? When you see me at the end of that race, okay, I'm sprinting. I'm not leaving anything, there's nothing left when I'm done, okay? The same thing would happen here. I mean, if I didn't think this was important, if the team around me didn't believe that this was important, guess what? We probably would have given up a long time ago. This is important. This is a critical need. It's a solid investment, not only now, but for generations to come. That's why we have busted our tails on behalf of the citizens that we serve to do it. Could have given up easily on pension reform, could have given up easily on the event center, could have given up easily on the indoor pool, could have given up easily on the rail yard relocation project, and yes, we could have given up easily on this city administration building. It's not our style. It's not why I'm here. I was elected to serve. I was elected to bust my butt on behalf of these people and give them my all. I still have a year and a half. I still am going to sprint from now until the time I'm done. God willing. Joe, that's a good question. Councilor.
Mayor, I think there are people in our community that have the misconception that we're going to be building a new city hall.
Thank you.
Okay, would you, and I know in the presentations that we've had, we've been told that this is going to house initially from 90 to 100 employees in our new building. Could you just give them a brief overview of what departments would be moving into the new building?
And Councilor, thank you. And that was not a layup, but we didn't talk about this before. Thank you. Because that is a real misconception. I've heard that, oh, the mayor is creating a new office for him or her for future. No, folks, our city hall is right here, and it is wonderful, and it's beautiful, and right now it's more functional than it's ever been. This is a city administration building where citizens will get served and where employees will provide that service to them. The intricate details are not finalized. Again, we've made some recommendations, Councilor Staley, in terms of what we believe would be good moves in the spirit of collaboration, making things more productive, as well as providing space maybe even here in City Hall so that we could bring some people back in here and move others there. But Councilor, it's not been finalized because truly it's not built. I think that what we would do is we would tweak those plans and make them even better, not only for you to understand, but for the citizens of Sioux Falls to understand too. But we do believe that not only will this building serve the city, with the needs that we have now, but in the letter that I provided to you, or will provide to you, Councilor, it says that we believe we've got the ability to grow into this building for at least 50 years. And we also believe that we're going to build it right the first time in such a solid way, but also a aesthetically pleasing way. We believe that this building will stand strong and tall for about 100 years. So again, Councilor, I don't have exactly those answers for you today. We've provided some recommendations, but they've only been that, just recommendations. One of the things that, Councilor, that has also been talked about is collaborative efforts with groups like Minnehaha County, for example. Okay? As we've reached out to Minnehaha County, they've expressed some interest in potentially collaborating on that, but they too haven't finalized what their thought process. And again, all that can evolve over time in terms of as we, if we were to move forward with this. Okay? So more to come, I hope, Councilor Staley. I hope.
How many buildings does the city lease? Do you know?
Too many. Well, one right across the street, and you can get a great picture of it, media, if you want. Right across the street. You know what we're paying for that? Right now, about $120,000 of taxpayer dollars going right down the old tube. It is. Certainly, I don't want to denigrate that realtor that is renting it to us, because certainly it provides value. But again, if we were only doing that for a year or so, no problem. No problem. In fact, I highly recommend it. But the longer that you lease, the more and more that investment turns into just sunk expenses right down the old drain. So that's a good one, right across the street. Thank you. Others, great questions, everybody.
Is there a good time to lease? I mean, obviously you're
Sure.
leasing now.
Joe, short-term things, special projects or special needs, certainly. So yeah, there certainly is a good time to lease. But again, in my mind, the longer that you lease, whether it's a church or a nonprofit or a business or government, it just doesn't seem prudent. It doesn't seem responsible, and some of that common sense factor really goes away. Good question. Any others? Yes,
Can I
Councilor?
ask one more?
Oh, please.
Oh, okay. One thing that I will say publicly I've admired about you is that you let the event center go to a public vote. I think the community really appreciated that. And I've talked in the past about this project, because it's using Second Penny as the basis for funding. Have you ever thought of having the public weigh in on this?
Well, Councilor, in my mind, we are elected to serve. We are. We're elected to make tough decisions. We're elected to get things done. And one thing that I've cautioned city councilors on, that as I've been working, is one thing I don't recommend is that we kick anything down the road, any issue or any opportunity. And again, I value the citizens' right to vote. That's what we're here to do. We're here to make these tough decisions and then let our citizens live, work, and play as they deem fit. To me, we're almost kind of shirking our responsibilities if, every time there's a tough decision that needs to be made, we say, yeah, you know what, let's put this on their shoulders versus our shoulders, versus ours, okay? Again, welcome to the team, Councilor Staley, welcome. I think that you're saying it's a heavy burden, but it is fantastic. The rewards, they're wonderful. And these citizens, they're going to lift you up more often than not as you sacrifice on behalf of all of them. So that's kind of a long-winded answer, but hey, we're going to do the right thing. We will. We will. Not everybody's going to agree with us, of course, but ultimately we will. And I think if you look at our track record, I'm only going to speak for the 6.5 years that I've been serving. If you look at our track record, the citizens that we serve, my goodness, they're quite happy. And in fact, not only are the citizens of Sioux Falls thrilled, guess who else is cheering us on? Folks all around the state of South Dakota, all around this area, they're kind of rallying behind the things that we're doing here in Sioux Falls. And in many cases, they're hoping that happens to their town and their communities as well. So, Councilor, hope that answers it. I don't think that's necessary. I think that we can make, and we will make, really good decisions on their behalf. Good job. Thank you. Yes?
Just one more, just to make sure.
No, hey, you take as many as you want.
Thanks.
I respect the media. I respect what they do. I think one thing that and welcome. One thing that I think that folks in the media understand, they'll ask me all kinds of stuff, and I'm here. I'm trying to be open, trying to be transparent, even though I've been accused of not being transparent. So you go ahead. Thank you.
So this is veto, just want to make sure I have it.
It is veto.
Right.
It is.
If it's,
No, it's
but
done.
that's not.
Folks,
Sorry.
folks, it is veto. It is. I made that veto. It was tough. Councilor Neitzer, Councilor Staley, it's tough, but it's done. It is veto. In fact, David Thaifley, he watched me here's the way it works. It's kind of interesting. And you'll see it in about 5 minutes or whatever you want. It's really interesting how it works. Normally, I sign my name after the council does their great work. Councilors, in this particular case, I didn't sign my name. I wrote the word veto in capital letters, veto, where I would normally sign it, and then it just says, see attached responses as well. So you're going to see that in media here very, very soon.
Okay, all right, I just want to make sure, so the funding repeal, like, the bonds will be sold in October, and it's about $25 million?
It's about $21.9 million. $21.9 million.
And then with the interest, is that a little higher?
Around, help me, Sue.
I'm sorry,
With interest over the years, any estimate?
30?
30 million?
Yeah, 20 years down the road.
Thank you. You're welcome. Good job. Thank you. Others?
When you know the last time Mayor vetoed?
David told me that, Mayor Munson, he did veto, I think, at least one thing, but it was rare. Mayor Hansen vetoed, I think one or two, but it's very rare where this happens. I think it's a sign of respect to the council, a sign of respect that and it shows that we do have a pretty functional government here in Sioux Falls. Not only during my terms, but before too. We do collaborate in the end. We find a way to go to church together, to go to the supermarket together, and maybe attend an event center event as well now. I don't have a good answer, and David, maybe we should do that research to help them. But who may know? Tom Greco or the city clerk's office, they'll know. So that's what I would recommend. Tom Greco, he would have the record, I'll bet, of the last veto. Thank you, good job. Others? Well, I thank you. Thank you so much, and make it a great day, everybody. Thank you.
Y'all come back now. Cheers.
What kind of morons run this outfit?